with their depth and their size.
David Richmond in his 8th year. For the 4th time, he's won 20 games at North Dakota State. Half the time, they have won 20 basketball games. What a record as the head coach of the Bison. We got a great crowd, and here we go on Senior Day on this Saturday afternoon. We're glad you're joining us. Kansas City in the Navy jerseys, the Bison in the white. As you look at the Roos starting lineup, Greg mentioned Josiah Alec, who's back after missing some time with an injury. And Andrew Coleman on Senior Day makes the start again. The Bison are going to be without Bowden Skunberg and Grant Nelson for the first half of this game.
Kansas City in that trademark man-to-man defense are going to get up into people, never let you feel comfortable.
Jarius Cook with the first shot of the game is good.
Great job by Cook to use the dribble as a pressure release, elevate over the smaller Gilliard. Great start from North Dakota State.
What makes this Kansas City team so tough defensively?
I think just a mindset. I think it starts with Coach Donlin, and he says this is what we're going to do. We are going to force people to, when they're done playing us,
alley-oop to start on the back door. There's Lamar to get the first two.
That's a good choice for player to watch. Yeah, no, I'm impressed. No, but they've got some interchangeability. But I think it's a mindset. It's a toughness that Billy Donlin brings and expects out of his guys.
Cruiser was hot on Thursday, short with his opening three. Rebound is tracked down by Marvin Nesbitt.
Nesbitt, Lamar, just versatile out there. They'll guard up, they'll guard down.
Gilliard is a really good player. Step back three is good, and Kansas City knocks down its first two shots.
Well, we talked about the return of Alec, but you just can't overlook all season Evan Gilliard, what he's brought to this Roos offense. Really a dynamic player, the young small lefty.
Riesel off balance, can't get that to go, and Alec is in there for the rebound. The game earlier this season was just a crazy basketball game in Kansas City where the Bison build a double-digit lead as Alec catches this down low. In trouble and gets it out. Nesbitt will take the three. That's short. Edey with a rebound. Kansas City won on a 21-0 run and held off NDSU and won that game. That's one I know David Richmond still bugs him in the back of his head about this season.
Well, and that's why when you're looking at the prep and establishing the game plan for this Kansas City, it shouldn't be hard to motivate this Bison squad.
Edey slithers and scores down low.
Yeah, I just love Edey's ability. He's always so patient on the block. Kansas City decides not to send a second defender. And I'll tell you what, there's not many guys in this league that Edey can't score over.
Got a whistle here away from the ball.
He's going to get Coleman just kind of bumping a cutter for Kansas City as Malik Harden-Hayes comes into the game for North Dakota State.
And Richmond alluded to this a bit with Logan in his pregame interview. Obviously, the rotation is going to be certainly different here because Skunberg usually is the first guy off the bench, and I have to imagine we're going to see a bit more of Andrew Morgan in the first half.
I think you're right. I think we will, and I wouldn't be surprised to see, now they got Harden-Hayes bumping a cutter. Second foul. We've seen that, but I agree with you. And we might see Morgan and Cruiser at the same time, depending on how they want to play the lineups. Morgan had a nice game against ORU on Thursday.
Totally lost, obviously, what happened in the aftermath of Thursday is how well the Bison basketball team played on Thursday night. Was their probably the most complete game of the season in beating Oral Roberts the way they did.
Dom, I agree with you. It is, and that's a Dave Richmond, trademark. He wants his teams getting better throughout the course of the season, playing their best basketball heading to Sioux Falls.
Gilliard with a deep three, and he's off to a quick start with a couple of them. Well, Kansas City out to a 4-point lead.
And Dom, we've talked so much about Max Asmus when he came in here. Let's not. Gilliard's numbers aren't far from Asmus's, and they do it both as diminutive players, but boy, are they explosive.
Alec going to get called on the foul there for Kansas City. As the Roos will go to the bench for the first time, Shamari Allen and Anderson Kopp will come into the lineup.
Well, and Kopp and Allen, 6'4", 6'5", just the number of those 6'4", 6'5", interchangeable athletes they can put on the floor. That's what allows them to really get after people defensively, keeping fresh bodies out there.
Riesel having some trouble here on the inbound and finally gets it into Cook. Trying to work up a Cruiser screen. Edey into the post for Cruiser. Stripped of the ball, and a foul going to be called down low as they'll get that time on Lamar.
I think they got Nesbitt on the double down. Lamar was doing a good job. Then they sent that second body because they've got a smaller lineup on the floor. They do bring Alec back in.
This Kansas City team, as we mentioned off the intro, red hot on 8 of 10. Oral Roberts tripped them up last weekend to end their 7-game win streak. And they had a really impressive performance Thursday night in Grand Forks. Good backdoor feed as Cook lays it in.
Excellent action without the ball. Jarius Cook's defender turns to kind of help on Griesel's penetration. Excellent job. Steps on the back door. Great find by Griesel.
8-6 our score as we played nearly 4 minutes. Nesbitt finds Alec down low. He's short with that, and Cruiser with a rebound.
Well, good job of contesting without fouling by Harden Hayes, and Griesel kind of dropped down and bothered him a little bit as well.
Griesel will back this out. Feeds that for Cruiser. Tough catch down low underneath the hoop. Lost the handle on it. Harden Hayes dives for it. And Gilliard comes out of there with the ball, then took it away by Cook. We'll get a held ball, and possession arrow is going the way of Kansas City as we come to our first media time. The Roos hanging out, and if they win today, Greg, they've got a pathway to the number 2 seed. Now, granted, they still have to play South Dakota State next week.
Absolutely, but I'll tell you what, we visited about this. Coach Donlin has this group playing their best basketball of the season as well. There's some good coaches in the Summit League.
Just going to end up being, as we always say when we get to Sioux Falls, just an absolute grinder of who's going to get to Tuesday night to play for that automatic bid.
And it's an environment, Dom. You and I have talked about it so much. If you haven't been there, you are missing one of the better mid-major environments in the country.
Great hustle there. Harden Hayes stripped away, though. There's a 3 from Kopp that's off the mark. Nesbitt flies in for the rebound and scores.
Well, that's Nesbitt, just his versatility. He can defend multiple positions, gets on the offensive glass. That time the stick back builds that lead back to 4.
Andrew Morgan comes in to the game out of that media timeout, a freshman from Waseca, Minnesota. He gave some valuable minutes in the game Thursday night in the win over Oral Roberts.
So I just love the composure and demeanor that Andrew Morgan brings to the floor for a true freshman. Beyond his years.
Edie finds a space there, lost his footing. Rebound. How about Morgan? Twice down low and scores.
Excellent job by Morgan to get on the glass. And I'll tell you what, Edie almost made that shot.
From his rear end.
Exactly, but Morgan just showing his activity, his value.
Good look underneath. Nesbitt got open again. Off the mark with a hook shot. Griesel up with the rebound.
Boy, that was a nice take by Nesbitt. Elevated up over Cruiser, but as you mentioned, not able to finish.
Get a foul there called. As they get Nesbitt on that foul.
And that's the style of play that Coach Donlin and this Kansas City group will have. It so often depends on how close are the officials going to call it. Because if not, boy, you better be ready to expect the contact, but don't necessarily expect the foul call.
Rocky Cruiser comes back into the game. Let's check in with Logan.
Thanks, Tom. Well, we all know that NDSU is known as a football school, but Rocky told us earlier this week he thinks it should be known as a basketball school. He said there's tons of similarities between the two programs, but he said the bond that the basketball team has is very special. He said that this is a team that he holds very close to his heart, and all 14 of them are truly a brotherhood.
Cruiser tried to save that one, but it's turned over, and the Roos have it. Gilliard, the feed underneath. And a rejection there. Cruiser with a nice play.
Rocky Cruiser doesn't give up on it, turns it over and sprints back. Now they're going to get a foul.
Donlin not happy about that as they're going to get Shamari Allen on the foul.
You watch Cruiser flying in. Oof, gets that before it gets to the glass. That's a great defensive effort play by the senior that's saying, you know what, I'm not going to take it easy down the stretch.
We get a stoppage here before the inbound.
With a length on the floor for North Dakota State, huh, Don?
Morgan, Harden Hayes, Griesel, and Cruiser out there right now. And Edie's no small guy either.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's some... just an imposing lineup.
Morgan picked up his dribble. Look at that feed to Edie. Rejected, though, down low by Arkel Lamar, who got up there.
Well, that's the bounce that this Kansas City group has as well, as Gilliard gets down deep in the paint.
Corner three, good. And Lamar off to a quick start with an early 5.
Well, you see the versatility and the attention you have to pay to Gilliard. His ability to free up shooters. Lamar shooting it at a high level right now.
Griesel off balance and the foul.
That's vintage Griesel, Dom. What we've seen down the stretch as he's elevated his level of play. We saw it in the second half, and he just backs his defender down and he got his elbow around him, but didn't use it to kind of leverage himself. He just allowed him to get around him, finish off the glass. Just a tough take.
Sam Griesel, who's already etched his name in Bison basketball lore. We mentioned this in the broadcast. He's short with that free throw. Originally committed to play basketball in Vermillion at South Dakota. Craig Smith left USD and took the job at Utah State. Some past relationships were rekindled, and Griesel ends up coming to Fargo and becomes an all-time Bison great.
It's crazy how some of those things fall into your lap at times. Here you see Gilliard going hard. McKinney keeps his hands high, but really bodies Gilliard as soon as he leaves the floor, so that's an easy call for the official to put Gilliard on the line. But you go back to it, the credit is you didn't burn any bridges in that relationship. And when things fell through somewhere else, he knew exactly where he wanted to go, picks up the phone, calls Dave Richmond, and hopefully Dave Richmond went out and bought a lottery ticket that night.
Gilliard, the leading scorer on this Kansas City team, averaging 16 points a game. Transfer from UTEP that came here. Lamar is a transfer from University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So Donlan's doing it the way everybody's basically doing in Division I basketball right now, as Gilliard knocks them both down.
And when you look at his teams, you got a couple of smaller guards out there, but just the interchangeability. I think he loves those 6'4" to 6'6" interchangeable athletes that really are going to be willing to get out and defend at all positions and still do a good job on the post defending.
They got a foul there down low, and they're going to get Morgan on the offensive foul.
Yeah, that's the problem. Bozer is one of those bigger bodies for Kansas City, and sometimes that experience, he'll bait Morgan into trying to lean into him.
You could already tell, and obviously this game was going to be different than how the game was Thursday. Also, it's going to be officiated differently too than what we saw from Thursday. We're going to get a screen call there on Lamar.
Yeah,
that's already his second.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You know, that they've been able to overcome it because they've had added depth. But here you're going to see Lamar. He puts that right elbow right into McKinney. That's an easy call, right in front of the official. If you're Billy Donlan, you can't afford to pick fouls up on the offensive end because you're going to have plenty of them on the defensive end.
And that's the way they play, though.
I know. I agree.
It's worked. They've won 17 games this season for a team that was projected 6th in the Summit League in the preseason poll.
And here you just see them doing a good job of keeping the ball on the perimeter, but nobody does this better than Griesel.
Griesel, though, short with that. And Kopp comes out of there with a rebound for the Roos.
You'll take it if you're Dave Richmond. It's still Griesel found a way to see the crease, get to the rim, just not able to finish. That's uncharacteristic.
Timothy Barnes, number 0 into the game, joined by Sam Martin back in. Lamar with a corner 3. He is feeling it early on. Lamar's got 8 of Kansas City's 18, and the Roos are up 8.
Yeah, he is.
McKinney goes right to the basket. Good take there from the Kansas City kid.
Strong take by McKinney.
Good to see him back out. Remember, Dez got dinged up at the end of the game on Thursday against Oral Roberts. And forget again what happened in the last minute of that game.
That's what I was going to say. When he kind of got dinged with an injury, it's interesting how that changed the whole dynamic. No. Good gosh.
Lamar, the step through and finish. How about this from Arkel Lamar?
When you look at him, I'm going to tell you what, his ability to do it at all 3 levels, from behind the arc, get into the rim.
6'5", 235. He's a large man. Cruiser cuts and scores.
Good recognition by Rocky. Kind of vacated that entire side of the floor and did a good job of not settling all the way to the rim.
Each team shooting identical percentages here at 58% as we near the halfway mark of the first half. Lamar lost the handle on that. Griesel comes up with a loose ball. He wants to drive, and an offensive foul.
Now the crowd
does basically going through like Swiss cheese here through the Visa D.
4 defenders, and that's Morgan. That's a freshman on defense. You know, he seldom shows it, but he didn't sit down, and Lamar just attacked a 6'10 guy who wasn't in a defensive stance, and then the rest of the Bison defenders were on their heels. That's good camera work. They've got to find a way to get Lamar under control.
NDSU came out blitzing on Thursday from three-point range. They have only attempted one three-pointer. That was a cruiser early on, and they did not make that.
And that's one of the things North Dakota State thinks they can finish at the rim as Alec.
Short again. He's had a couple of those where he's had a good post move and unable to capitalize. McKinney feeds and fouled there, and again goes down holding that. Have Nelson or Skunberg.
Right.
So play here for the first 20 minutes.
So now all of a sudden, you know, someone like Willie Guy's got to be ready. I mean, he hasn't played a ton of minutes lately, but anybody and everybody with a uniform on over there has to be ready to step into an opportunity if and when it presents itself.
So Griesel will come in to shoot the free throws here for McKinney as he knocks down the first.
And that's the other thing is I didn't even really see the foul, to be honest with you. There was certainly no malicious intent on the part of a Kansas City defender.
Hits them both as we're back to game action here. 20-16, Kansas City with the lead as we have 10-12 remaining in the first half. Gilliard guarded there by Edie. Boy, it's a quick step there from Gilliard. They feed it, good defense as Edie knocked it away from Alec for the moment. Alec with a hook shot, finally gets that one to go.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Dom, the third time that he was able to get to the rim, but the first time he was able to finish. But that's, to Kansas City, you love to see that starting to go.
Harden Hayes. Tough move down low and gets the roll. That's what you like to see out of Malik Harden Hayes.
Yeah, nice finish. Soft touch, as you mentioned. Wasn't able to have the angle to use the glass. Gets it over the front of the rim and drops it in. Nice job of taking advantage of a little size mismatch.
Gilliard tried to create some space there with the elbow. Feeds it inside for Lamar. Guarded there by Griesel. Down to 8 on the shot clock. Arkel, Lamar, quick move and score. 12 points already.
Lamar and Griesel, this is quite the matchup. Both of these guys are difficult stops when they're on the block. Both of them, you have to debate, do you send a second defender or not?
Edie picks up his dribble, leaves it for Harden Hayes.
Good job by Alec back there a little bit ago to really open up and take that back cut away from Rocky Cruiser.
Floater, Griesel, he's so good at that.
He is. Lamar, little respect from Lamar going, yep, that's pretty tough. That was a tough stop.
It's going to be a battle between those two all day. 24-20 with 8.5 remaining in the first half. Barnes feeds Gilliard. Alec from the baseline, backs it out. Down to 7 on the shot clock. Another hook and good for the All-Summer League preseason first-teamer.
Yeah, he's starting to feel it now as well. And Kansas City, efficient offensively.
60% right now from the field.
Exactly. And you talked about their success from behind the arc, but that's also allowed this one-on-one opportunities in the paint.
Cruiser in trouble, has picked up his dribble. Will try to go high off the glass, but too strong there. Gilliard comes back out of it for the ruse. Fade away, floater, good.
Could not put any pressure down on that left knee. So, Dom, this will be a situation that we will continue to monitor throughout the game.
Thanks, Logan, for the update there. Tough to see for the young man going down. David Richmond there, Greg, not thrilled, obviously, with how his team is playing defensively. Kansas City up to 65% from the field here.
Well, and I agree with you, because they've got some clean looks from three, but what they've really done their damage here lately is kind of one-on-one action to the rim, and North Dakota State is typically a bit stronger defensive team than what they've shown.
Edie knocks down, that's a big basket out of the timeout with a three.
Well, nice kick by Griesel to Edey in the corner. That's one of the things that Kansas City does. They will dig down on dribble penetration. North Dakota State takes advantage of it, gets a clean look from behind the arc.
That ball is kicked.
It's a big basket. I mean, North Dakota State needed something to kind of stop that little mini run Kansas City was on, or that separation that they were creating.
Jack Chapman will come into the game for Kansas City. Freshman from Overland Park. Not like the Bison offense has not been efficient either. NDSU is shooting 62% from the field here.
No, I agree. I think Kansas City just been a tough matchup. Here they have the
Gilliard short there, and Cook flies in for the rebound.
Yeah, they got the mismatch with Cruiser sitting down in front of Gilliard. Nice job by Cruiser to not let him use the dribble to get to the rim. Force the three.
Cruiser and Morgan both in the game here, as Greg alluded to earlier on. Morgan picked up his dribble.
Well, just God, here's you see Kansas City. They make it so difficult if you do utilize your dribble to try to really lock up.
Nice feed from Griesel to Edey, who floats in the lane and scores.
That's a tough finish by Edey. Went up, brought his left hand up to it, finished again. Great find.
Crowd back into this game as the Bison have trimmed into a 3-point deficit. They've made 6 of their last 7 shots.
This is the end. They've got to find a way to get it done. As you mentioned, this crowd urging him on defensively.
Alec stripped away there by Edey. Trademark Tyree Edey on defense.
Oh boy, he missed, man.
Yeah.
Morgan freed up.
The whole crowd recognized that too. The only one who did it was the guy with the ball.
Edey doesn't make many mistakes.
No. He'll take a 3. Way strong there. Morgan able to save it though.
Well, good job sealing in
but
on
the ball didn't touch
backside.
the rim here. And then a whistle.
I think they had Cook, or if he was standing on the side.
I think he was out of bounds there. I didn't see any official for a foul. Now that ball was turned out of bounds there by Cook.
Yeah, that's where they're taking the ball out. So
5:40 remaining in the first half. 28-25. Kansas City with the lead.
That's the thing. Can North Dakota State string some stops together?
Lamar had a brief breather. He's back into the game. Gilliard feeds Josiah Alec. Gilliard will take that 3. Can't connect there. And Morgan tracks down the rebound. You can't say enough about the minutes here from Andrew Morgan.
I completely agree. I mean, they need him. And he's producing both ends of the floor, cleaning the glass, defending a little bit.
One of the future pieces of Bison basketball you were seeing here late in the year, folks. And he's got the ball right now. Down to 9 on the shot clock. Morgan up with it, and the ball gets wedged there between the backboard and the rim, and the possession arrow goes to NDSU.
I still like the take by Morgan. Actually defended very well without fouling by Alec. Or I'm sorry, Bozer, I believe. But yeah, just not able to get it up on it. I think he wanted to get it up on the glass. Might have lost control of it as he went up.
Always amazed that happens.
I know.
Not a great geometry mind, but it happens more often than you think. Cruiser finds some space, able to get Alec up and then score.
That was an excellent job by Cruiser to stop on a dime and did not walk.
It didn't travel his
No,
right.
great use of the pivot. Nice finish as Alec took himself out of the play. This crowd is pleased.
And out of that timeout, it's a 7-0 run for the Bison here over the last 2.5 minutes to make this a 1-point game.
You like it. This crowd knows what's on the line.
Gilliard with a strong move but can't finish, and the rebound to Edey. NDSU with an opportunity to take the lead. Griesel to the lane and a foul.
That is Sam Griesel. Just never lets up, keeps the pressure on his defender, turns him, absorbs the contact, not able to finish, but that is just Sam Griesel. Great recognition that the lane's open. He just has to attack his man, puts him at a disadvantage, gets himself to the line.
18 fouls on Kansas City. Griesel with an early 6 points here. Now 7. And not think that Dave Richmond is counting minutes here, Greg, but again, he's saying, all right, we got 4 minutes left in the half, and then we get 2 more of our guys back into this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if Edie and Griesel have sat yet, but they're just fine with it. They've got the rest of their lives to sit. They want to find a way to get one last opportunity in the proper column on their home floor.
Griesel does not come out of the game yet. Edie had a brief breather here. NDSU on a 9-0 run to take the lead. Gilliard in the tree. Games here, you're going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, credit the rest of these guys. Nobody's out there trying to operate out of their comfort zone. Alec took him a while to get going, but he had a couple of finishes around the rim. But Gilliard and as you mentioned, Gilliard and Lamar are going to be key for this Kansas City group.
Gilliard completes the 3-point play to give Kansas City a 2-point advantage as we click down under 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
Actually, I like North Dakota State's approach offensively. I think they've done a good job of finding the opportunities to get to the rim.
Griesel. Nice defense and a foul going to be called, though. Boser can't believe it. He's going to be whistled for the foul.
And I think they might have said it's on Chapman.
They got Chapman there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, 34, not 35.
Because as you mentioned, Boser did a good job of really doubling down and coming from behind.
Both looked incredulous at the ref. It's hard to gather anymore, but players never think they commit a foul.
Oh, no, not
There's
at all.
my editorial out of the way.
No, it's true. It's true. And there were some jerk coaches back in the day that thought their teams never fouled either. I won't name names.
Griesel hits the first. What an entertaining game here to start. Great crowd. Glad you're joining us wherever you're watching here on this Saturday afternoon. Our final men's basketball broadcast of the year. Been a good one here so far. We're knotted up at 31 with 3.5 to go.
Well, you make a great point. These are two really good teams, two well-coached teams.
Lamar looking for Alec, though, turned it over. Some miscommunication there. The 4th turnover of the game for the Roos.
Yeah, they haven't made many mistakes, but that was just a great effort by Griesel to get over the top of the screen on the backside and beat Alec to the spot on the post-up. I think that's what forced Lamar to kind of throw the ball in an area where Alec couldn't catch it.
The only time NDSU led in this game, it was to start a cruiser basket that made it 2-0. After that, Kansas City has led a majority of the half. Got up by as many as 8 with 7:41 to go in the first half.
You can see the switch on the ball screen late. Griesel's going to go at Alec.
Griesel, tough shot, and the foul! Griesel trying to take over.
Now, I'll tell you what, I've talked a lot about Baylor Shireman and what he means to his South Dakota State team. I don't know if down the stretch, I don't know if anybody in the league's playing better what Sam Griesel is for his group.
Again, for those that have not followed the Bison team all season long, Griesel literally got hurt the first game of the season against Concordia. Ended up having a bleeding ulcer, was out for over a month. Came back in the middle of December, really rejuvenated this Bison basketball team that was stumbling early on through the non-conference.
Couldn't agree more. His impact on this North Dakota State team it's second to none as far as any other player in the league, I'll be honest with you. That's not taking anything away from a lot of great players in the league.
Bison are on a 14-3 run here. Now up by 3. Gilliard ties it right back up.
I'm telling you what, that's one of the best defenders in the league, and Tyree Edie and Gilliard created some space.
Gilliard's got a game high in 16 points. Cook is open in the corner. In and out there. Cruiser trying to fly in for the rebound. And able to come out of there is Anderson Kopp for Kansas City.
That was by design to get Cook a clean look.
Gilliard, how about the defense there? Cook got a hand on that. And the Bison come up with it.
That was a great job of defending without fouling by North Dakota State.
Griesel straight on 3, can't connect there. Cruiser fighting with Hart and Hayes for the rebound. Nice look from there, and an offensive foul.
I know that's a tough one, but it's the right call. Just great effort by NDSU to secure extra possessions.
That's the 7th team foul on NDSU. So each team now will go into the bonus.
Yeah, that's two. Is this an important minute 58 now?
Boy.
Good gosh. As Griesel goes to the bench with those 2 fouls, this is where this group has to step up and understand they need to get it done defensively.
This has been the bugaboo of this team all season long, is late in halves not being able to finish.
Right, and it's Andrew Coleman. They're calling on the other senior who hasn't played much at all lately. Come in and step in for Griesel these last 2 minutes.
Kopp will take that, can't connect, and Cruiser with a rebound. Bison trying to get to the clubhouse, knowing they're going to get Grant Nelson and Bowden Skundberg available in the second half. Just remarkable this is playing out in the final game of the season, at least at home.
Yeah, it's an interesting set of dynamics, but it all comes down to who's making plays on which end of the floor.
Coleman feeds it into Cruiser, down to 5 on the shot clock. He's got to go. Leaves it. Coleman will take the 3, short there, and Kopp with a rebound for Kansas City.
Well, that was a pretty good look. Coleman's a decent 3-point shooter, but as you mentioned, got really late in the shot clock, so he had no choice.
1 minute remaining in the first half of a tie game at 34. Gilliard, nice feed. Lamar for the lay-in.
That was an excellent job by Gilliard because Edey was really sitting on his left hand, and then he was still able to get back to it, create for his teammate.
Kansas City goes back out on front, 36-34. Into the corner. Here's Cruiser. And a foul, blocking foul call here on Kansas City.
Well, I'm not going to lie on that one. That's a tough one if you're Billy Donlin. I thought he did a heck of a job defensively of getting to that spot. Well, either way, both teams now lose a key player with those 2 fouls.
That's 2 for Lamar.
Yeah.
And just something to keep an eye on here as this game evolves, because it's not going to get any less physical as we get into the second half.
Not at all. Not at all. And I think that's what's helped Coach Donlin, and his team win 8 out of the last 10, is that added depth by Alec coming back. It just spreads those minutes out, and they can play without fear of foul trouble really hamstringing them because they just improved their quality of depth.
Willie Guy comes into the lineup. Willie has not played here in a few games, but trying to spell. Again, Griesel with those 2 fouls with 35 seconds left as the Bison continue to make their free throws here. 9 of 10 in the first half. We're tied up again. There's about a 4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Well, if you're Billy Donlin, you do not want NDSU to get another possession. Run this shot clock down, take some momentum into the locker room, and if you're NDSU, one more stop, one more finish on the glass if you can.
Gilliard. And a foul going to be called.
You watch Gilliard, his ability. Watch this replay. He just hesitates, and that gets Rocky out of stance and gets him moving in the wrong direction. That is just a crafty, smart basketball play on the part of Gilliard. Little hesitation, change speed, draw the foul.
Griesel will come back in with 11.1 remaining here. It's a 1-and-1. That was the 8th team foul on the Bison as Gilliard will go to the line already with 16 points. An electric first half for Evan Gilliard.
Actually, 2 really good teams going back and forth, Dom. Fun to watch.
Exactly what we thought of these last 2 home games of what was going to be here. It is not disappointed.
Not at all. Until late in that game when NDSU really imposed their will on Oral Roberts. That was impressive, but you can tell these are 2 teams primed and ready for the opportunity.
For Kansas City, the Bison led by the 13 of Griesel, 7 for Edey, 6 for Cruiser so far here in this first half. Both teams well over 50% shooting from the floor. The Bison at 54%, Kansas City at 56% in the first half.
Yeah, that's a number that's going to bother Dave Richmond at halftime. Neither coach is going to be overly happy about what they're allowing. Here you see some full court pressure.
Griesel on the inbound will get this to Coleman, down to 10 seconds. Coleman will leave it for Griesel, down to 5. He'll put it up for 3. Got it! Griesel knocks down the 3 with 2 seconds remaining in the inbound, and there's the horn. And the
Welcome back. North Dakota State is leading Kansas City 39-38. You can take a look at Des McKinney. He went down in the first half with a left knee injury. He has a big brace on it. They're currently taking a look to see if he has an ACL or MCL tear. They determined there is no broken bone, but they're going to continue to assess and test him to determine what the injury is. He will be out for the game, so we will not see him for the rest of this game. Now, I had a chance to talk to Kansas City's head coach, Billy Donlin, at halftime, and he told me that this is such a great environment for college basketball. His team absolutely loves playing with all of this crowd noise, but he said to create some separation for the Roos, they need to start putting more high pressure on the Bison because they're letting them get from point A to B way too fast, Dom.
Thanks, Logan. Underway in the second half. Grant Nelson is into the game for North Dakota State. Standout sophomore from Devils Lake, North Dakota, had to sit out the first half because of a half-game suspension for his actions at the end of the game on Thursday night against Oral Roberts. He's out there with Griesel, Edey, Cruiser, and Jarius Cook. The hook from Cruiser is good. And the Bison here with that stolen possession at the end of the first half, then there's a quick 5.
Absolutely, and they needed a great start from North Dakota State. Nesbitt missed his first shot. Don't forget, he only played a little over 5 minutes because of foul trouble in the first half.
There's a turnover there as that ball goes out of bounds. Donlin and Nesbitt were both looking for a tip.
Yeah, that's pass was fired.
Unbelievably, this is the largest lead of the game for the Bison at 3.
Yeah, you talked about that 8-point deficit that the Roos put North Dakota State in. They came back from that since then. It's just back and forth.
Just underway, second half in the regular season home finale for North Dakota State. Ball knocked out of bounds by Gilliard. It'll stay with NDSU.
Just those active hands of Kansas City. You just got to be strong with the ball. Anticipate that they're going to be reaching, knocking that thing loose. Got to be tough with it and not allow it to end up in a turnover.
Griesel working on Lamar. Tough shot over Lamar. Can't get it. There's Nelson, though, and he's going to be called for a foul.
Yeah, that was the right call. It was an obvious one. He got two hands in the back. Jack Chapman, I believe, but I'm sure it's been tough for Grant Nelson sitting over there for the first 20 minutes, and there you see kind of the extension as Chapman gets displaced.
Gilliard nearly traveled there. He gets it to Alec down low, scores over Nelson. Alec with 6 to get the Roos back within 1.
It's funny, Gilliard almost traveled because he changed his mind as to who he was going to deliver the pass to. That was a good finish by Alec after a couple of early misses. He's been good around the rim for Kansas City.
Got a 12 on the shot clock here. Cook flashing into the paint. Jarius Cook and a foul there. Nesbitt went up for the rejection.
I think they're going to get Gilliard on the reach first.
You heard the hack there on our camera microphones.
Yeah. That was a strong take. I'll tell you what, Cook was looking to finish with authority on this one. You can see him
looking up there.
Yeah, and Gilliard got a hand on the arm, and he kind of lost control of the ball, but gets himself to the line.
Jarius Cook 4 points so far here this afternoon. Knocks down the first. The Bison continue to make their free throws. Now 10 of 11 at the line here on this Saturday.
When we talked about North Dakota State hasn't been great from behind the arc, but they haven't settled. They've really, Cook that pass last time curls off that screen action. They want to continue to attack the rim, and you like that approach if you're Dave Richmond.
It's worked, though, Greg. There's been opportunities there as the announcer jinx never fails as Cook gets 1 of 2 at the line.
But this guy, Gilliard and Lamar are really playing at the peak of their game as well.
Lamar goes right to the basket and scores. He's got 16. And Kansas City ties it right back up at 42. Here's Cruiser stripped of it and turned over. Nesbitt in transition for Lamar. Hack there, and you heard that one loud and clear. And Griesel just picked up his 3rd.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And Lamar holding that hand.
You could hear it.
Yeah, this is an all-ball attempt, no question. And you're Sam Griesel, you hate to pick up your 3rd foul. He just didn't want to give up the easy 2, and definitely didn't want to give him a chance at a 3-point play.
As Lamar at the line misses the first, I'll ask you, what do you do there? Knowing you're playing with 2 fouls, you give him the 2 and live to fight another day?
Well, it's tough, and I think it's also Dave Richmond knowing, you know what, I trust Sam Griesel. He knows it's his 3rd, didn't want to give up the easy one. It looks like it was a good play. They come away with 1 instead of 2 for sure.
43-42, Kansas City with the lead. Roos are going for the season sweep of the Bison. They won in Kansas City back in January and get themselves into the conversation for the number 2 spot in the Summit League. You saw that score in Grand Forks as Nelson spins and scores.
Yeah, he spun, lost his balance, but didn't rush. Got his base finished. Grant Nelson's got to maybe breathe a sigh of relief. I'm back in this thing now.
Sigh of relief. Also, he didn't travel as well there.
Yep. And had he rushed into his shot, he probably would have. He just slowed down enough to regain his balance.
44-43, NDSU with the lead. 3 minutes gone, second half. Alec finds an alley. Rejected, though, as Nelson got a hand on it. Loose ball. Another block down low, that time from Cruiser.
Wow, I'll tell you what, it's a big-time block by Nelson. Even better one by Cruiser.
Wow. Griesel to the basket, high arcing shot, no. Nelson looked for the rebound and just got called for a second foul.
Well, you love the activity and the energy that Nelson's bringing to the floor. Picked up 2 quick fouls. Yep. The good news is it's the second half. He didn't do it in the first.
Bowden Skunberg has come into the game for the first time. The Jamestown native who also had to sit out the first half for that half-game suspension, now in.
That's a great replay, just showing the effort and the walling up on Cruiser's part, blocking without fouling.
3.5 gone, second half. Bison up 1. Gilliard, good defense there as Griesel knocks it out of bounds. It'll stay with Kansas City with 10 on the shot clock.
And that's just game plan, scout defense, knowing that Gilliard's just going to kind of probe and get into the paint and really look to kick. Excellent hands by Griesel on the help.
Lamar tried to save that off of Cruiser. It'll still be Kansas City ball, but they're now down to 8 on the shot clock.
That's the thing, you get late in the shot clock, it's either going to be a Lamar or Gilliard kind of going, attacking, thinking score first, create second.
How about that from Griesel? Able to steal it. Gilliard saved that, and they'll reset the shot clock. As it changed possession, Lamar swatted there by Nelson. What an odd possession that was.
Really was. What a great block again by Nelson. Using his length.
He thought about that 3. Griesel finds Edey. Edey stripped to that, got it back, floater in the lane, gets it to go, and almost Nelson had to keep his hands off of the rim.
Yeah, he had to hold back. Billy Donovan thinks he touched it, but restraint by Nelson. This crowd appreciating the defensive effort.
Drive 2022 Tucson for $199 a month or Santa Fe for $229 a month. Hurry in.
Join us for our final Bison basketball broadcast of the year as the NDSU women will wrap up the regular season when they welcome in their rivals from Grand Forks. It's UND and NDSU next Saturday, 1 o'clock, right here on WDAY Extra. 4.5 minutes played and 3 fouls for Grant Nelson.
Yeah, I mean he's shown some energy on both ends of the floor. He had to push in the back on the offensive rebound, and sometimes that's just maybe getting a little too hyped up for your opportunity. I'm sure he'll be a little more effective when he comes in the second time.
Off the inbound, Alec and Nesbitt were almost fighting over it, who the ball was going to go to. Allen leaves this for Lamar. Here's Josiah Alec, spins. Nice move down low on the pivot and scores.
Yeah, that is tough, and you understand what he brings to the floor. He hasn't been huge today, but 8 points, I believe.
Yep.
But he's certainly a presence, and he's an offensive threat down there, and you can understand why they're a better team with him back in the lineup.
Morgan comes back into the game. Skunberg stays in for NDSU. The feed inside. Morgan collects, stripped of it. He'll go right back up and gets the roll. That was over Lamar.
Such a tough finish by Morgan. And just how much confidence do these upperclassmen have in the true freshman? They're throwing it in there and say, go get it, big boy.
Lamar trying to answer back with a 3 and does. Arkel Lamar with a 3. He's got 20. And we're tied up.
Now, we talk about guys kind of getting down to the end of their career, wanting to finish regardless of whether they've been at a school the entire time or not. Lamar playing like, you know what? I want us to go do some damage in the postseason.
Here's Skundberg out of the corner, trying to create some space. Floater short there, the tip. How about Morgan down low with the foul? Andrew Morgan, the freshman from Waseca, Minnesota, coming up in the biggest moments over the last 2 games.
He really has, and he inserts himself in the biggest moments. Discipline, toughness, doing the dirty work.
David Richmond told me when they got this young man to commit, he said, Dom, this guy is going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And, you know, every coach says that. You said it in your days when you ever get a recruit.
I agree.
Man, Morgan's freshman year has been something else here. Of course, sat out for 8 weeks with an intestinal injury, and he's come back a little trimmer, but he's been effective since coming back into the lineup.
He is, and I can't say enough. I said it before. Alec stepped in case Morgan misses that. Yeah. He came back. Credit to the strength and conditioning staff and the training staff. He dropped some weight, but it's hard to get back into basketball condition. He came back and looked like he'd never left.
As Greg pointed out there was a lane violation on Alex, so Morgan will get another attempt here at the line and make some pay.
How big are some of those little things going to add up after a while?
The three-point play gives NDSU back the lead. Morgan with 7 points in 11 minutes here today.
I just love his awareness on the floor.
Nice defense by Edey to deny that and force the turnover.
Yeah, that was a poor pass. That had to get up over the top, but a great play, as you mentioned, by Edey. Great vision.
Griesel getting worked on there by Shamari Allen.
Allen hasn't played a ton. They're trying to run different bodies at Griesel, but here you see he's so good at getting those defenders to be off balance. When you look at him, Gilliard keeps people off balance. Griesel does it, and believe me, they do it in different ways. They don't rely on speed. It's just kind of change of direction, change of pace.
13:48 remaining in the game. 51-48, North Dakota State with the lead. This is Nelson. The feed to Morgan, who gets loose for the flush. How about this run from Andrew Morgan?
Well, that's a great pass, but that's a tough catch and finish in traffic. This crowd appreciates it.
Morgan has 7 points in the second half alone. Bison with their largest lead of the game at 5. Nesbitt and draws a foul. Crowd not happy about that.
No, and I'm not going to say it's a bad call, but that was defended as well as Morgan could have. A little more credit, but you go back to this top-down look. You talked about the great find by Nelson. On the move, that's a great catch on the move, and then to get 2 hands on it because you know there's going to be help defenders trying to knock it away, and then finishes with the flush.
Marvin Nesbitt at the line for Kansas City. Knocks down the first.
Nesbitt, one of those guys who's a consistent producer, and here you see the defender. Yeah, you know what happened is Morgan just kind of got that off arm. The one close to the body got it over the top of Nesbitt's arm and ended up being an easy call for the official. You're better in that situation to get both hands high rather than allow one to be on the body.
Nesbitt knocks them both down. 53-50, NDSU with the lead as we click down to 13-10 remaining in the ball game. Bison going for a 10th win in their last 11 games if they can get it here. Nelson spins and finishes. How about the spin move from the Devil's Lake product?
From the 6'11 Devil's Lake product. His ball skills are ridiculous.
The lead is 5. The feed, there's a turnover. Allen was trying to get it to Alec. And Kansas City with its 7th turnover of the game.
Now that's a tough one for Allen. Great intentions, just not able to deliver the pass.
Donlan's done with giving Gilliard a break. I have to imagine we're going to see number 1 in here the rest of the way.
Yeah, believe me, Gilliard say, I'm fine, I'm good, every time he gets asked.
55-50 our score. Cruiser steps in, leaves it for Morgan. How about this length out there on the floor now? You've got Nelson, Cruiser, and Morgan out there for NDSU.
Yeah, 6'10", 6'10", 6'11". They can all handle it a little bit.
Down to 6 on the shot clock. Nelson will try the long 2. Almost in and out. That was down and came out.
It really was. Soft touch, rattle in and out.
Alec will take the 3.
Tough finish.
We're knotted up at 55 with 10:50 to go. What's been a fabulous basketball game.
I was just going to say, this crowd has been treated to two teams playing at a high level right now. What, you don't want anything more.
Riesel, off-balance shot, no. Nelson missed the putback, got it back, and is fouled.
Boy, he's come back with a vengeance. Yeah, a little foul trouble, but some energy, some toughness, flying around on the offensive glass.
We saw that happen earlier this year against South Dakota when he got in foul trouble. Time out on the floor with 10:32 to go in the game. We're tied up at 55.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more.
Like the sun carries the moon, when the wind blows, I shelter you.
And the Jackrabbits didn't necessarily pull away from the Bison. It was 2 4-point wins that SDSU had. Let's check in with Logan.
Dave emphasized the importance of making these free throws. He said, you guys, we do not have any room to miss the free throws for the remainder of this game. He also said you guys need to hustle back on defense and make sure you are set in your spots, and we cannot let them get any more shots off for this half.
1 of 2 at the line for Grant Nelson, who's responded with 5 points as he picked up the 3 fouls.
Well, it's for a good portion of it, it's been a free-flowing offensive game, but this is the end of the floor for North Dakota State.
That's a blocking foul and 1 for Alec.
That's a tough one. Great job by Scumberg to get there, but a better play by Alec to finish after the contract. He's quietly really put together a heck of a game.
15 points now, Greg, with this basket and a chance to exceed his season average. Lamar, Gilliard, and Alec carrying Kansas City here.
Alec, as we talked about, had that slow start. Since then has scored around the basket. He misses his free throw. But as you talked about, he's really impacted this game the last 15 minutes or so.
58-57, and a foul there going to be called on Gilliard. 53 of Kansas City's 57 points have come from those 3 players. They had to reset here. We have another scoreboard issue, it appears, here as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, what the issue is. I see Billy Donlin was talking to somebody, and then, Wes Offerman was over there. And Offerman usually knows what's up.
Yeah,
I will say that.
We had this happen a few weeks ago with the South Dakota game, and
yeah,
it appears it's going to be the same case here.
In this case, it looks like it's a scorebook issue. So are we concerned about score?
And clock, too, yeah. I wonder.
It says 57-56 on the
live stats here.
Okay, now they have adjusted that on the scoreboard as well, because it did say 58-56 a little bit ago.
This is exactly what we ran into in the South Dakota. Yeah, they just got the announcement there. The score is 57-56. Because initially there, because I looked down once we got back onto that missed free throw by Alec, and I'm like, the score is not correct. We saw on the screen.
And just so you people watching know, Dom knows he keeps a scorebook, and I'm impressed as heck. I am. I mean, that's pretty cool. And so you did know, and you had some question about it.
Donlin and Richmond actually sharing a moment there in the middle of this game just to make sure everything's good. The referees have cleared that up at the official scoring table here. Looks like they're going to come.
All right.
57-56.
Yeah.
As best I can, yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you what, Dom, you taking yourself to a new level. They just came over and asked you if the book was right.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
There's way too much pressure on me now on this one.
I did not know you had that level of credibility.
All right, back to live action here. It is 57-56. By the way, the next Bison foul on them will put Kansas City in the bonus for the remainder of this game.
Grant Nelson kind of wants to ISO.
Yeah, wants clear out here. Nelson from the foul line, short with that. And Lamar comes up with a rebound.
Griesel was able to get a little bit of a breather. Nice job by David Richmond to kind of utilize that over some extended downtime.
Gilliard with space, and that one's over the basket. It'll be Bison ball. Right now, Greg, the Bison with no baskets over the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds here. So a drought has allowed Kansas City to get back in this game.
Yeah, it has. And credit, Kansas City does not make things easy on the defensive end for any team that they play. They have continued to just gain in confidence throughout the course of this conference season. Gain in depth with Alec coming back. And Gilliard playing at a level that's probably as good as anybody else in the league.
9.5 minutes to go in the game. Ruse up 1.
And they get some action to the rim.
Skunberg, and he traveled. Turnover. The ball goes back to Kansas City, and the drought continues here for NDSU.
I don't know if there's a team in the league better than Kansas City at really being physical in the penetration. As you watch the replay, but then backing away and not allowing them to kind of brace themselves against. We've seen a couple of instances in that case where they create the space and it creates some balance issues for the ball handler.
Biggest thing, too, what Kansas City's done here is Gilliard drives the feed to Alec, who scores. How about that pass?
That was a heck of a finish in tight quarters. And I don't know, the Cruiser didn't get a little piece of that left-handed Alec finish. Still found his way to the bottom of the net.
And they've taken the Bison crowd out of this game here. Time, and that is a much-needed basket. Griesel with the tap away to Nelson on the turnover.
How about Sammy Griesel? Gets a little breather on the bench, breathes some life into his team.
Nelson, the crossover, and the finish. And just like that, the Bison have taken the lead.
What was this you were saying about a quiet crowd, Dom?
Josh Sass, one of the assistant coaches of NDSU, grinning from ear to ear on those last 2 plays. NDSU back in front.
These are 2 good basketball teams.
7:18 to go. Gilliard, little crossover himself to the flush and the finish.
Gilliard so tough.
He's got 20. Griesel leaves this for Cook. Jarius Cook, tough move there. Short.
4% cash back on dining and entertainment.
Rewarding Chuck for dining and entertainment?
That's all he does.
That's like rewarding me every time I use a curse word.
It's like rewarding me every time I say hello, friends.
Like rewarding me for every time I plunder.
Hey, Garth, thanks for the goat cheese.
Don't thank me, thank her.
This goat cheese is from that goat?
What's in your wallet?
Whoa, hold up there, partner. That's my line now.
Tell him, Sam. Tell him who's the GOAT.
Kodak Insurance Company Player of the Game. That's coming up. We'll select that before we wrap things up on this Saturday. High-octane performances here from numerous players. Griesel with 18. Gilliard leads everybody with 23. Lamar has 20. Alex 17. It has been that kind of game since the get-go here.
It really has. Andrew Morgan with just some high-level minutes off the bench for North Dakota State. Grant Nelson.
Again, here you go. 11 minutes for Nelson. 3 fouls, but 9 points. And no fouls since he picked up that third.
That's right. And it's just, he kind of wants the opportunity. He's not forcing it. He's just taking advantage of it when it finds him.
6 minutes to go. 64 all. Nice backdoor field of Shamari Allen, but he's short as Edey was able to get in there.
Well, after Billy Donlin, great find. Oh, excellent decision by Nelson not to try to get that on the glass.
Wanted to feed a cutting Skunberg.
Go back to that last play. Billy Donlin draws it up perfectly out of the timeout. They can't finish at the rim.
Griesel with 10 on the shot clock. Backs it down. Down to 5, off balance, and draws the foul. And Allen just fouled out of this game. That is his 5th.
That's a tough one. He kind of keeps his hands high, looks over at Coach Donlin and says, what do you want me to do? But let's see. He's got his hands pretty high right here, but as when Griesel goes up, he does. He drops that left arm right on the top of Griesel. Easy call right in front of the official.
Timeout here with 5.5 to go. Still 64 all.
It's your ultimate snowball fighter.
To the line for the game. The lead is 1 with 5.5 to go.
Got Skunberg on Gilliard.
Nesbitt collects down low. Remember, he's playing with 4 fouls as well. Spins the pivot move short there, and Griesel with the rebound. Kansas City's already lost 1 player, and Shamari Allen, who's fouled out of this game.
Well, you got to love the look at Billy Donlin, but just there's a big time stop by Sam Griesel. Goes up, contests without fouling.
5 minutes remaining. Skunberg collects, moves, shoots off the glass, no, and the rebound, another one that was down and out. That comes to Lamar.
Well, both coaches getting looks that they love.
How about Gilliard? Glides and scores with the cradle.
Just his ability to get through the smallest of seams.
25 for Evan Gilliard. 4.5 to go as Kansas City goes back in front.
They want to ISO Edie if they can.
Cruiser will try the 3. No, and the rebound to Lamar. Swooped in for that one.
Gilliard so good at putting people on skates at times. He's got to stay disciplined. Can't get caught trying to knock the ball away. Just stay in front of him.
Lamar left wide open for 3 is good. Not the guy you want to leave open. And the Roos have a 4-point lead.
Well, Lamar, we haven't heard from him for a while, and all of a sudden he says, don't forget about me. Gilliard's good, but I'm pretty good too.
He's got 23 after a red-hot first half. And a foul going to be called as we get the under 4 timeout here with 3:49 remaining. Free throws coming when we come back. It's Kansas City now in front, 69-65.
It's your ultimate snowball fighter. It's your frostbite fixer. It's your all-wheel drive enabler, roadless travel, challenge accepted, winter warrior. The all-wheel drive capable Hyundai Palisade, Tucson, and Santa Fe. It's your journey. Own it. Lease an all-wheel drive 2022 Tucson for $199 a month or Santa Fe for $229 a month. Hurry in.
To 65. Roos have hit 5 of their last 7 shots. Right before that media timeout, foul was called on Kansas City, which is the 8th team foul on the Roos. So a 1-and-1 is coming for NDSU here out of this timeout. And free throws are going to be all that important here down the stretch.
Well, they are. You talked about Griesel goes 1 of 2 last time, and this is still the bonus, I believe, because I don't think he was in the act of shooting.
Right, it is 1-and-1 here, I thought.
And they've got to be able to knock these down, and every possession matters. You can't panic. You can't feel like you have to rush anything, but this is where composure and experience is going to matter for both of these teams down the stretch.
Griesel, 19 points to pace the Bison today. 8 of 10 at the line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And talk about how heads-up play not picked up an additional foul since he got that third one.
That's right. That's right. They're doing it with his feet, keeping his hands high, keeping himself on the floor.
Let's go over to Logan.
Thanks, Dom. Like you said, they got to keep calm, cool, and collected, and that's exactly what Richmond said. He said, do not force anything. You got to be on, you got to be on, you got to be on every time you take a shot. He said, keep moving your feet and keep communicating.
69-67. Bison faithful cheering on here with 3:40 remaining. Alex had a monster second half here for Kansas City. 1 of 3 in double figures.
Good job defensively early in that possession, defending a lot of action to the rim. Good communication.
Gilliard again! Another monster 3 from Evan Gilliard.
And Skundberg was right there. Gilliard created enough space. Skundberg contested late. Just gotta shake your head and say, you know what? It's a big time play.
He has 28. His season high was 33 against Western Illinois earlier this season. He may surpass this here with 3 minutes remaining. Edey with the Bison down 5 to Cruiser for the flush.
Excellent job by Edey. Strong with the ball when the double came. Splits the double. Cruiser to the front of the rim and the flush.
The lead is 3 with 2:45 remaining. Bison fans on their feet, but Gilliard gets by and scores again. 30 points.
A one-man wrecking crew. Billy Donlin just says, I'm going to put the ball in number 1's hands. He doesn't disappoint.
Kansas City up 5 with 2.5 to go. Evan Gilliard, 30 points today, 7 assists, 10 of 15 from the field, and he's made all 5 of his free throws. Just a dynamic performance here this afternoon. Makes the first, now 31.
And that's a lot of people. You addressed it earlier. We both talked about a lot of people saying, boy, we got one of the best guards in the country coming in here this week. It's Max Asmus. Everybody's going, by the way, this guy is pretty good himself.
Not too shabby here.
Oh, man alive.
One more. Missed the second, though. The lead is 6 with 2:13 remaining. Nelson for Griesel. He'll drive, and an offensive foul, and Griesel is just fouled out of this game.
That is a tough one if you're Dave Richmond.
That is his 5th foul. Richmond incensed with that call. And Sam Griesel will not be able to finish this game on the floor.
Yeah, and this is where, you know, if you're North Dakota State, you can feel sorry for yourself. You can look up at the clock and say there's 2:06 to play. We've got to toughen up, and we got to go get this thing done on our own.
Crowd not happy either as Griesel is fouled out here with 2:06 remaining.
That's full court pressure.
Kopp trying to get that in to Alec. Nice catch there. Skundberg ran into him.
That's where if you're North Dakota State defensively, you can't gamble. You can't take yourself out of position. You need a solid possession. Force them to make a tough one, and you got to get on the glass. 4 guys to do the 100% of their scoring, and basically 3 guys, Alec, Lamar, and Gilliard, have just carried this team.
Gilliard, Lamar, Alec, and Nesbitt have 72 of their 75 points today.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how. Matters how many. As Gilliard hits the first, now with 32, and pushes the lead now to a 3-possession game.
It does, and the other thing you look at is
Sam Griesel out of this game after fouling out.
Well, I mean, it's a tough one, and it's so much of it is you have to credit Kansas City in the manner in which they played. Gilliard knocking down tough shot after tough shot creates that space. Those are big-time plays, and Dave Richmond right now says to challenge his guys, say, listen, we've got to score quick, don't be out of control, but then we've got to find a way to sit down, create a turnover if we can. If not, got to put them on the line and try to maximize the number of possessions that you have left in the last minute 25.
Kansas City won this game against the Bison back on January the 20th. It was 80-77 was the final there. Bison actually had a look at a game-tying 3 at the horn that did not go in. They're going to need a big-time rally here in the last minute 20 as they're down 8.
Kansas City jumps into a zone out of this last timeout.
Edie with a corner three. No, the long rebound. It comes to Nesbitt, and Cruiser will have to foul.
Well, just a different look. You know, you give Coach Donald a little credit. I'm sure North Dakota State said, here's what we want to execute. They hadn't seen a possession of zone the entire game. Probably had some man action drawn up. Now, I'm not saying they got a bad look because Edie's a good three-point shooter. Just not able to find the bottom of the net. And as you mentioned, right now, the opportunities are getting fewer and farther between for this NDSU team.
Nesbitt will go to the line. 2 of 2 in this game. And gets the roll for the first.
You know, Don, we were talking about it before the ORU game that if NDSU get the win, they've got the season sweep tiebreaker over ORU. Well, guess what Kansas City's thinking right now?
Exactly right.
They get the season sweep. That's the tiebreaker over NDSU, and they believe they're playing as well as anybody in the league with USD and SDSU.
And it backs it up here. Their numbers back it up with how they played.
Absolutely.
9 of their last 11, and they are up 10 in Fargo with 1:05 to go.
Back into the zone look. They really want to defend the three-point arc.
Cruiser is able to score the dunk and the timeout with exactly 1 minute remaining. It's 79-71.
And NDSU still has a timeout. I don't know if they have 1 or 2 left for sure, but and this is if you're Billy Dowling, you're saying, fine, I'll deal with it if they're going to score twos. I just want them to maybe work a little clock. We just don't want to give up threes right now.
Should have 1 timeout now remaining for the Bison here.
Yep, they're down
look
to
at
1.
our game reset. The Bison in the double bonus with 10. Possession arrow is going NDSU's way here, which is also an advantage if the ball gets tied up. Kansas City will shoot 2 shots the rest of the way.
Right, and that's what you want to create in this full court situation. Can you create a turnover? If not, can you create a tie-up? Then if not, if you have to foul, you have to foul. But NDSU is going to need anything and everything, and I don't even know if that's going to be enough to have a chance in the remaining 60 seconds.
A win today by Kansas City would get them to 11-5 in the league standings. Still not out of the hunt for that second place finish as we got a timeout as Kopp struggling to get the ball in bounds, and now Kansas City is down to 1 timeout remaining.
Well, that's exactly what you wanted. If you're Dave Richmond, and smart job on Kopp's part, you kind of start that clock in your head. You count on your own, and when you get to 4, if you haven't found anybody, you got to turn to that official and make sure that you're not giving them an easy turnover.